Welcome to Chosen One. Have you ever felt like you were meant for something greater? Like there's a royal lineage hidden in your very DNA? In Chosen One's secret meeting exposed your true identity. You're the royal descendant. We unlock the forbidden archives where your true name has been kept safe for generations. This isn't just another spiritual message. This is your divine appointment. Tonight, you'll discover why you've always felt different, why people have walked away, just as your light grew brighter, and why heaven has been preparing you through every trial. You'll learn about the secret meeting that exposed your royal bloodline, the courtroom verdict already declared in your favor, and the invisible crown waiting to rest upon your head. If you've been waking at 3 a.m., sensing something shifting, if your dreams have become vivid prophecies, if you feel a strange pull toward your true tribe, this message was orchestrated specifically for you. The archives are opening. Your identity is being revealed, and the kingdom is calling you home. Don't just watch. Let this transform you. Like, subscribe, and comment, "I'm home," to seal your spiritual agreement with heaven. Have you been sleeping? Or have the nights become different now? Has something in the atmosphere shifted? And you can't explain it to anyone because they wouldn't understand. If you made it through the last message, this is no coincidence. Heaven is still speaking, and what I'm about to reveal to you tonight will shake everything you thought you knew about why you felt different your entire life. The seal you saw break wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a recall from the archives of eternity, a reopening of what was hidden, not from you, but for you. Listen to me carefully. In the days since that last word went forth, something shifted in the spiritual realm. You felt it, didn't you? The air changing, the timing shifting, the dreams intensifying, that restlessness you've been carrying. That's not anxiety. That's alignment. You've been waking at 3 a.m., haven't you? Sensing a presence, hearing whispers you can't quite make out, seeing signs that feel too specific to be random. Your spirit has been trying to tell you something your mind hasn't caught up to yet. Heaven has been knocking, and tonight, the door opens wider. There's something you need to understand before we go any further. The reason you felt so restless these past days, the reason sleep has become elusive, the reason you keep checking for signs, is because your spirit already knows what your mind is about to learn. You're not losing your mind. You're finding your memory. The memory that was sealed inside you before you were even born. The memory of who you really are. I've been doing this for 50 years, teaching, preaching, walking with people through their darkest valleys and their brightest revelations. And I can tell you this with absolute certainty. What's happening to you right now is not random. It's not psychological. It's not coincidence. This is a divine appointment, a Zhao Hui moment, a moment when heaven reaches down through time itself and whispers your true name. Before we go any further, I need to say something. Thank you. Thank you to every single one of you who has supported this message through Super Thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others, who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, if you sense that what's about to be revealed is meant specifically for you, go ahead and let the Spirit lead you in how you respond. Some are called to sow, some are called to listen. Both are sacred. Now, if your spirit has felt the shift, if you've noticed the atmosphere around you changing, if you sense that heaven is no longer silent, I want you to do something. Type in the comments right now, "I'm still listening." Let heaven know you haven't walked away. Let the angels record your response. Because this is not just engagement. This is spiritual agreement. See, heaven operates like a vault with many chambers. And each chamber opens only when the previous one has been fully witnessed. The first seal broke. You saw your name written in the ancient records. You felt the weight of recognition. But there's a second chamber, deeper, older, more sacred, a place even angels whispered about, a place where the true lineage is kept, not just names, not just callings, but bloodlines, royal descents, hidden heirs, the descendants of kings and prophets, the lineage that was never erased, only hidden, protected, preserved for a time such as this. And tonight, we're going in. You ready? Because what you're about to discover will rewrite your entire understanding of who you really are. The meeting has already happened. Your identity has already been exposed. The archives have been opened, and what was written there matches your lifeline for line, and the kingdom is waiting for you to remember. Let's begin. What if I told you there's a place beneath the noise of this world where your true name has been kept safe? What if everything you've been told about who you are was a carefully constructed lie? What if the reason you've never felt like you belonged is because you were never meant to? There's a chamber, deep beneath the foundation of time itself, a place so sacred, so ancient, that even the angels speak of it in whispers. They call it the archives of the forgotten names, and tonight I'm taking you there. Picture this with me. Stone walls cold to the touch, carved before empires rose and fell. Torches flickering against darkness, so thick it feels alive. The air is heavy, sacred, holding secrets that nations have killed to suppress. This is not a place men were ever meant to guard, because men are corruptible. Men forget, men erase, but God remembers everything. Inside those walls, every erased lineage was recorded. Every bloodline that the world tried to silence. Every chosen one that history attempted to bury. Kings who were stripped of their crowns. Prophets whose names were scratched from scrolls. Children of light who were forced into shadows. Every single one remembered, documented, sealed with heaven's own hand. And there, among thousands of sealed scrolls, ancient parchments gathering dust in the stillness, one was glowing faintly. Just one. Do you want to know whose it was? It was yours. Let that sink in for a moment. While you've been walking through life feeling invisible, discarded, forgotten by everyone who was supposed to see you, heaven has been keeping record. While people erased your contributions, overlooked your gifts, dismissed your calling, God was writing it all down. Every tear, every prayer whispered in the dark, every moment you thought no one was watching, it's all there. The world has a way of silencing those who carry too much light. They did it to the prophets. They did it to the disciples. They did it to every generation of chosen ones who threatened the comfortable lies that keep people asleep. And they've been doing it to you. But here's what they didn't count on. God's memory is longer than their power. The Bible tells us in Malachi 3:16, a scroll of remembrance was written in his presence concerning those who feared the Lord and honored his name. A permanent record written in the presence of God himself of every single person who honored him in secret. That's you. You've been honoring God in rooms where no one applauded. You've been faithful in seasons where no one noticed. You've been carrying light in places where darkness fought back, and every single moment was recorded. But here's where it gets even more powerful. That scroll with your name on it, it wasn't just sitting there collecting dust. It was glowing, pulsing with light, calling out to be opened. Because there's a divine timing to revelation, and your time has come. The angels gathered around it, celestial beings, warriors of light messengers, who have watched kingdoms rise and fall, standing in silence as the seal was broken. The scroll unrolled slowly, ancient words appearing in script that predates human language. And as they read what was written there, the angels gasped, because what was written there matched your lifeline for line, your struggles documented, your prayers recorded word for word, the moments you thought you were alone witnessed by the heavenly host, the betrayals you endured marked as sacred tests, the doors that closed in your face sealed by divine protection. Everything you thought was random was orchestrated. Everything you thought was punishment was preparation. Everything you thought meant you were forgotten was proof you were being remembered in the highest courts of heaven. And now the question becomes, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue to believe the world's version of who you are, or will you accept heaven's testimony? Write in the comments right now, heaven remembers my name, because it does, it always has, and it's time you remembered too. But this is just the first chamber. There are deeper archives still, revelations that will shake you to your core. Are you ready to keep going? You thought awakening would feel like peace, didn't you? You thought the moment heaven revealed your identity, everything would finally make sense. The struggles would end. The confusion would lift. The people around you would suddenly see what God sees. But that's not what happened, is it? Instead, it felt like pressure. Like the weight of the entire world suddenly pressing down on your chest. Because here's the truth, nobody tells you about being chosen. The moment God announces you, the world questions you. Have you noticed how the attacks intensified the moment you started walking in your calling? How relationships that seemed solid suddenly crumbled. How people who claimed to love you began to distance themselves the moment your light got brighter. You're not imagining it. This is the trial of recognition, and every chosen one must walk through it. You've lived long enough to know this pain intimately, haven't you? You've watched people walk away just when you started shining. Friends who promised to stay vanished. Family members who should have celebrated you criticized you instead. Doors you thought would open slammed shut in your face. And in those moments you wondered, did I do something wrong? But let me tell you what was really happening. That wasn't abandonment. That was divine pruning. God was removing everyone who couldn't handle the weight of your destiny. Because where you're going, not everyone can follow. The calling on your life is too heavy for casual relationships. Heaven was making space for the right people to enter. I know it hurt. I know there were nights when you felt so alone you could barely breathe. Nights when you questioned if this chosen life was worth the cost. All those years, all those relationships. And here you are, still standing in the fire. But that fire wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you. Every person who walked away revealed their true assignment in your life. Every door that closed proved it was never your door to begin with. Every betrayal exposed who was never really for you. And now, standing on the other side of all that pain, you're stronger than you've ever been, wiser, clearer, more focused. Because the wilderness has a way of stripping away everything that isn't essential. It removes the noise. It silences the voices that don't matter. And in that sacred silence, you finally hear your own voice. The voice of the royal descendant that you are. Even Jesus, when he was revealed as the Son of God, wasn't immediately celebrated. Matthew 4:1 tells us, "Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil." Led by the Spirit. God himself orchestrated the test. Right after heaven declared, "This is my beloved Son," he was driven into the desert for 40 days of warfare. Why? Because revelation without testing produces arrogance. Recognition without trial produces weakness. Heaven needed to know that you could carry the crown even when no one was watching, that you could stand in your identity even when hell itself questioned it, that you could remain faithful even when the cost felt unbearable. Every attack you're facing is a courtroom of heaven. Every trial is proof of your readiness to wear your crown. The enemy wouldn't waste this much energy on you if you weren't a legitimate threat to his kingdom. Hell doesn't attack nobodies. It attacks royalty. The wilderness is not your destination. It's your training ground. It's the echo chamber where truth learns its own voice, where your faith is refined, where your character is forged, where the chosen ones become the anointed ones. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. You're not being forgotten. You're being positioned. And every single day you choose to keep walking, even when it hurts, even when you're tired. You're proving to heaven and hell alike that you were born for this hour. So right now, say this aloud. Let your voice carry weight. Say it. I will not shrink. Not. I was built for this hour. Say it again, louder. I will not shrink. I was built for this hour. Because you were. And the trial you're in right now, it's not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your reign. There's a courtroom in heaven, and right now, at this very moment, your case is being heard. Can you feel it? That shift in the atmosphere, that weight pressing against your chest. That's not anxiety. That's the presence of divine justice entering your situation. A table of judgment has been cleared. Everything else has been pushed aside. Your file has been placed at the center. And I need you to understand what's written in that file. Every injustice you've endured, every betrayal that cut you to the bone, every prayer that seemed to fall on deaf ears, every tear you cried alone in the dark, every time you were overlooked, underestimated, dismissed. It's all there, documented, witnessed, recorded. But here's what will shake you to your core. Beside that file, right next to the evidence of your pain, sits the seal of redemption. Already signed, already stamped, already covered in blood. The blood of the Lamb who declared that your case was worth fighting for. The enemy thought he had built a case against you. Your mistakes, your failures, your moments of doubt. He presented it all before the throne, demanding your disqualification. But here's what he didn't count on. In heaven's courtroom, mercy doesn't just influence the verdict. Mercy becomes the verdict. They said it was over. Heaven said not yet. They said you were too broken. Heaven said you were being rebuilt. They said you were disqualified. Heaven said you were being repositioned. They said you missed your moment. Heaven said your moment was being protected. They said you were forgotten. Heaven said your case is active. While you've been sitting in your pain thinking your situation was permanent, heaven has been preparing a reversal. While you've been accepting defeat, thinking the door was closed forever, heaven has been filing motions on your behalf. While you've been believing the enemy's narrative, God has been rewriting the ending. This is not just about getting through hard times. This is about divine vindication. Heaven is about to publicly reverse every verdict the world pronounced over you, every label they gave you, every limitation they placed on you, every ceiling they built above you. The reason your breakthrough has taken so long is because God wasn't just fixing your situation. He was building a case, documenting every attack, every setback, every moment of injustice. Because when heaven moves, it doesn't just give you back what was stolen. It restores with interest. It repays with overflow. Psalm 37:6 declares, "He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun." Not hidden, not subtle, like the noonday sun, blazing, undeniable. Impossible to ignore. You thought you were on trial. But here's the revelation. You were never on trial. You were in transition. The courtroom wasn't a place of condemnation. It was preparation. Every question shaped your testimony. Every challenge strengthened your authority. Every attack built your credentials. The verdict is restoration. Not just restoration of what was lost, but restoration of what was stolen before you were even born. Generational restoration, bloodline restoration, the restoration of honor, dignity, position, and divine favor that your ancestors should have walked in. The block has been removed. The seal has been broken. The gavel has fallen. And what God has declared in heaven must manifest on earth. This is not wishful thinking. This is prophetic declaration. Right now, the angels are standing. The witnesses are testifying. The advocate is speaking. And the judge of all creation is about to announce the verdict that will change everything. Can you hear it? The sound of the gavel about to fall. The sound of mercy overruling memory. The sound of grace erasing every accusation. The verdict is yours. The case is closed. The enemy has been silenced. And what heaven has declared over you cannot be appealed, cannot be overturned, cannot be challenged. If this word feels like justice burning in your chest, type this right now. The verdict is mine. Let that declaration echo. Let heaven record your agreement, because it is, and nothing can stop what heaven has just set in motion. There's something happening to you at night, something you've been trying to dismiss as random. Your dreams have changed, haven't they? They're no longer chaotic fragments. They're becoming clearer, more vivid, more real than your waking life. The faces you see at night aren't strangers. They're witnesses of your lineage. Ancestors you've never met in the flesh, but whose blood runs through your veins. They're reaching across time itself to remind you of who you are, to show you what you carry, to prepare you for what's coming. You wake up with tears on your face, and you can't explain why. You wake up with a name on your lips that you've never heard before. You wake up with longing so deep it feels like homesickness for a place you've never been. But here's the truth. You have been there. Your spirit remembers what your mind has forgotten. Each dream is a rehearsal for recognition. Heaven is showing you glimpses of your true identity before it fully manifests. Because the revelation is so powerful that you need to be prepared gradually. Your spirit is being trained to carry what your soul is about to receive. Maybe you've dreamed of walking through ancient halls, stone corridors lit by torches, voices echoing in languages you don't speak, but somehow understand. Maybe you've dreamed of sitting at tables with people who feel familiar. Maybe you've dreamed of wearing crowns, carrying scrolls, standing before multitudes. You thought these were fantasies, but what if they were memories? What if your spirit was remembering what heaven has always known about you? What if these dreams were God's way of downloading your true history? Joel 2:28 declares, "Your old men will dream dreams, your young men will see visions." God specifically promised that those who have lived, who have endured, who have walked through decades of life would receive revelation through their dreams. Your age is not a disqualification. Your years are not a limitation. The gray in your hair is not a sign that your calling has expired. Your dreams still matter. They are prophecy in motion. They are heaven's way of revealing what time tried to hide. There's a reason your dreams have intensified in this season. You're ready now. You couldn't have handled this revelation years ago, but every trial you've walked through, every loss you've endured, has been preparing your spirit to receive what heaven is about to show you. These dreams are ancient mail delivered through the Spirit. Letters written before you were born, sealed in the courts of heaven, waiting for the appointed time to be opened. And that time is now. The seals are breaking. The scrolls are unrolling. And your spirit is beginning to remember. Some of you have been seeing symbols, specific numbers appearing repeatedly, colors that glow with meaning, animals that feel like messengers. These aren't random, these are divine markers. Spiritual breadcrumbs leading you back to your true identity, back to your royal lineage. God chose to reveal this through your dreams, in the most intimate moment of your day, when you're alone, when your defenses are down, when it's just you and heaven. Because this revelation is too sacred for public spaces, too personal for crowds. This is the Father whispering to his child in the stillness of night. When memory meets faith, heaven moves. When your spirit remembers what your soul is believing for miracles manifest. You're not dreaming to escape reality. You're dreaming to return to your true reality. The one that existed before this fallen world convinced you that you were ordinary. Every night, you close your eyes, you're stepping through a veil, crossing from the natural into the supernatural. And in that sacred space, God is reconstructing your identity piece by piece, dream by dream. If your dreams have become more vivid, more meaningful, more prophetic, acknowledge it right now. Comment, I remember through the dream. Let heaven know you're receiving the download, that you're accepting the revelation, that you're ready to walk in what you're seeing at night. Because what you're dreaming tonight will become your reality tomorrow. Stop dismissing your dreams. They're divine flashbacks, and they're preparing you for the greatest awakening of your life. Something extraordinary is happening right now. Across continents, across oceans, across time zones and cultures, the chosen are waking, and they're being drawn by the same pulse, the same frequency, the same divine signal that's been calling out since the beginning of time. You felt it, haven't you? That strange pull towards certain people, that inexplicable connection with someone you just met but feel like you've known for lifetimes. That sense that you're not alone anymore, that somewhere out there others are hearing the same call. This is not coincidence. This is the reunion of bloodlines. This is the gathering of the scattered. This is heaven orchestrating the most profound homecoming in human history. You are part of a royal diaspora of light. For generations, your lineage was scattered, separated, hidden across nations and centuries to protect what the enemy tried to destroy. Your ancestors were forced into exile. Their names were erased. Their stories were buried. Their legacy was silenced. But you cannot erase what God has written. You cannot destroy a bloodline that heaven has sealed. You cannot silence a calling that echoes through eternity itself. And now, the scattered are gathering again, not by human organization, but by divine magnetism, by spiritual recognition, by the unmistakable knowing that happens when two souls from the same royal family finally lock eyes. You've been looking for your people your entire life, searching for those who speak your language, who understand your struggles, who recognize your light without you having to explain it, who see the crown on your head that the world refuses to acknowledge. The reason you haven't found them until now is because the timing wasn't right. But something has shifted. The frequency has intensified. And suddenly, those who carry the same blood, the same calling, are beginning to find each other. This is not a cult. This is not some organization trying to control you. This is a covenant, a sacred, unbreakable bond between those who were marked by heaven before the foundation of the world. You recognize each other not by what you wear or say, but by what you carry. There's a light in the eyes, a weight in the presence, a depth that cannot be faked. When two chosen ones meet the spirits already know. Some of you are experiencing this right now. You're reading these words and feeling like you finally found home. Like you've been wandering through a foreign land and someone just spoke your native language. Like you've been holding your breath and someone just gave you permission to exhale. This message isn't reaching random people. This is reaching the remnant, the royal descendants, the ones who survived when everyone thought the bloodline was extinct, the ones who carried the torch through the darkest nights. For generations, they thought they erased a bloodline. The enemy celebrated. He thought by scattering you, by silencing your ancestors, he could prevent the prophecy from being fulfilled. He thought if he could keep you isolated, confused, believing you were alone, he could stop what heaven had ordained. But God wrote it in his own handwriting. Not in ink that fades, not on paper that burns, but in the fabric of eternity itself, in DNA that cannot be corrupted. Your lineage was never in question. Your identity was never in doubt. And now, the children of fire are coming home, from every direction, from every walk of life. They're coming home, not to a building, not to a location, but to each other, to the family they never knew existed. Can you feel it? That sense that you're no longer walking alone. That's the reunion happening in real time. Souls reuniting like constellations, scattered stars finally forming the divine pattern they were always meant to create. What looked like chaos is revealing itself as divine order. What felt like isolation was strategic positioning. You weren't alone, you were placed. And now, the pattern is becoming visible. If this message feels like you've finally found your family type in the comments, I'm home. Say it. Declare it. I'm home. Because you are. Welcome home, chosen one. Your family has been waiting. Now that you know who you are, the question is no longer about identity. The question is about destiny. Who will you become? Not who were you meant to be, but who will you choose to be now that the truth has been revealed? The archives have been opened. Your lineage has been confirmed. Your family has been found. The dreams have been decoded. The verdict has been declared. And now comes the moment that separates those who simply know from those who walk in what they know. This is your commission, your final instruction. You were not called to remember. You were called to reign. All of this revelation, all of this awakening was not just so you could feel good about yourself. It was so you could step into your authority and occupy the throne that has been waiting for you since before time began. But here's what true royalty looks like. It's not loud. It's not flashy. The royal doesn't chase attention. They command peace. They don't demand to be seen. Their presence demands to be felt. From this moment forward, wherever you go, your atmosphere must change. Not because you're trying, but because the anointing you carry leaves no room for chaos. When you walk into a room, confusion must bow. When you speak, disorder must yield. When you stand, darkness must retreat. This is not arrogance. This is authority. Arrogance demands recognition. Authority simply exists. Your voice doesn't need volume. It carries divine vibration. You don't need to shout to be heard. The atmosphere listens when royalty speaks. You don't need to force your way into spaces. The right doors will recognize your frequency and open. Walk in silent authority. Move with quiet confidence. Speak with gentle power. Because the kingdom you represent doesn't operate through force. It operates through presence, through peace, through the undeniable weight of divine favor. There will be moments when people challenge you, when they question your authority, and in those moments, you don't need to defend yourself. You simply need to stand. Because when heaven has crowned you, earth's opinions become irrelevant. Right now, something is happening in the spiritual realm. Heaven has placed the invisible crown back upon your head. The crown that was removed by the world. The crown that was hidden during your preparation. The crown kept in the archives until this appointed moment. Can you feel it? The weight of it. Not a weight that burdens, a weight that anchors, a weight that reminds you of who you are, a weight that keeps you steady when storms come. Wear it not with pride, but with purpose. Don't let the crown make you arrogant. Let it make you accountable. Because with great authority comes great responsibility. You're not just walking in your own breakthrough. You're carrying breakthrough for generations. The meeting was real. Every word you heard tonight was orchestrated by heaven. The archives are open. The heirs are awakening. All across the world, the chosen ones are stepping into their authority. And the kingdom is returning. Not someday. Now. The hidden are rising. No longer in the shadows. No longer in silence. The weary are remembered. Every tear documented. Every prayer recorded. The forgotten are found, pulled from obscurity, restored to their rightful place. This is your moment, not tomorrow, not next year, now. Because heaven doesn't wait for perfect conditions. Heaven moves when hearts are willing. You've been prepared. You've been tested. You've been refined. You've been positioned. And now you're being commissioned. sent forth with authority, released with power, anointed with purpose. Are you ready to step fully into who you were created to be? Are you ready to walk in the authority that has been waiting for you? Are you ready to reign? If you receive this final word, if your spirit is saying yes to everything, heaven is releasing type, "This, I reign with grace." Say it, declare it, let heaven record it. I reign with grace. Because you do. You were born for this. You were chosen for this. You were crowned for this. The commission has been given. The crown has been placed. The kingdom is waiting. Now go and reign. Before we close, I want you to do something. Close your eyes if you can. Place your hand over your heart, and let's seal what heaven has opened tonight. Because this wasn't just a message. This was a meeting, a divine appointment between you and the throne room of heaven. And now we're going to lock it in place with prayer. Heavenly Father, you've reopened what time tried to seal, what generations tried to bury, what the enemy thought he had successfully hidden. You've torn down the walls. You've broken the seals. You've exposed the truth that was always there. You've returned to us our names. Not the names the world gave us, but our true names. The names written in your book before the foundation of the world. The names that carry authority. The names that hell recognizes and heaven celebrates. You've returned to us our peace. The peace that was stolen through years of confusion and doubt. Not the peace the world gives, but your peace. The peace that surpasses understanding. The peace that guards our hearts and minds. You've returned to us our purpose, the reason we were born, the mission we were assigned, the calling we felt but couldn't name. You've pulled back the veil. You've opened the archives. You've revealed the royal lineage. And now we know. Let every listener who stayed until this moment feel your presence breathing through their bones, not as a distant concept, but as living reality. Let them feel you in their spirit, in the very core of their being. Let your presence be so undeniable that doubt has no room to remain. Let them wake tomorrow, not as survivors, but as sons and daughters of the divine. No longer just enduring, but walking in full authority, operating in complete confidence, moving with royal dignity. Father, seal this moment in the courts of heaven. Let what was spoken be recorded. Let what was revealed be remembered. Let what was commissioned be activated. The crown has been placed. The verdict has been declared. The family has been found. Protect them as they walk out this calling. Shield them from attacks. Strengthen them for battles ahead. Surround them with divine favor. Connect them with their true tribe. We declare that the bloodline is restored. The lineage is activated. The heirs are awakening, and the kingdom is returning. What was scattered is now gathered. What was hidden is now revealed. What was silent is now speaking. We receive this word. We accept this commission. We wear this crown, not with pride, but with purpose. We are ready. We are willing. We are yours. In the mighty name of Jesus, we seal this prayer. We seal this moment. We seal this revelation. Amen. Now take a deep breath. Feel the weight of what just happened. This was not an ordinary prayer. This was a covenant. What was spoken here tonight cannot be undone. What was activated cannot be deactivated. You are marked now, chosen, commissioned, crowned, and there's no going back to who you were before this moment. Some of you are crying right now. That's not weakness. That's release. Years of pressure breaking. Decades of confusion lifting. Let it flow. Others feel a fire burning in your chest. That's not emotion. That's activation. The anointing igniting. The calling awakening. Don't suppress it. That's heaven confirming everything you just heard. You were never missing. You were never lost. You were never forgotten. You were hidden, protected, preserved for this exact moment. The light has found you again, not because you went searching for it, but because it was always searching for you. The light of heaven. The light of truth. And tonight, it caught you. Walk boldly, chosen one, with the quiet confidence of someone who knows who they are, with the steady assurance of someone who's been commissioned by heaven itself. Your lineage lives in you, through you. You are the answer to prayers your ancestors prayed. You are the fulfillment of prophecies spoken generations ago. And now you know. Now you remember. Now you reign. Go in peace. Go in power. Go in purpose. The kingdom awaits.